See, yeah, I only saw Chris Brown's. But you know what? That so you made your point because the people I follow would listen to Robert Glasper, so they were just like, "How does Chris Brown not know who Robert?" And I said the same thing. I was like, as a fellow musician, even if y'all have different styles, like for me, like as a podcaster, as a speaker, right? You have people who talk about shit completely different than what we talk about, but you know, good communication. You know, someone who's able to, and like even
if that shit shake.
They have a show on this platform about sports that I watched, and I was like, in my opinion, that's one of the best shows on the platform. And I don't know that much about football, but what I do know is that these dudes know what they talking about. Like that's the thing. And so I'm like, respect just off top, just off rip because of that.
Right. I just think that the types of it's too many, in my opinion, too many. Like I know people talk about 6 degrees of separation, but it's like it's more like 12 or 18 degrees. Like it's, trust me, yeah, they might have been in the same room before, clearly in the same category, so they've been there, but it's still to me a reasonable enough distance for them. They would never be at the same parties. Chris Brown would not pull up to the parties that Robert Glasper will go to, and vice versa. Robert Glasper is not at the parties that Chris Brown.
He probably ain't at the house party that,
Robert Glasper at the parties where they, actual musicians is playing music. People are writers, composers. Chris Brown is at the parties where I'm really trying not to be petty. I want to be like, there's Coke, there's fake gang members.
Okay, yeah, like, we add this one.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So clearly they're different spaces.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Where we at? Is this it? Yeah, this is it.
Okay, we good. Sorry, we already talking shit already. We already starting the process.
Look.
All right.
So, number 2, right?
That could be that can be quick hit for the second one. That could be like the quick hit for the second one.
I'll add this real quick. Quick hit. And you know what? Maybe we'll do this one as a quick hit too, because that Trump lawyer thing is hilarious to me. Chris Brown didn't know who Robert Glasper was.
It was something else, but this is another quick hit that on my mind. But if it don't come to my mind before we do the second one, then it don't matter.
I was about to say, just throw it in there if you remember it.
Okay.
I just added the Chris Brown one. So. Okay. Oh, he's saying he could darken it up too, like once he's doing the editing.
Okay.
If it's not dark enough for us.
Okay, that's cool. I still like Chris Brown music.
I gotta get.
I used to be the one you talk to.
That's one thing I can't say. I gotta give it to him. They give him some good stuff to sing. That's for sure. Just shut the hell up.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Stay at your house and raise your kids.
Jesus Christ. We'll go today.
Are you live on here already?
Oh, I'm not live yet.
Oh, okay.
Now we going live. And then you're gonna let us know when you're ready for us to start, right?
Or we already started each time. I got everything.
Okay, I'm gonna start this from here. Starting on here. All right.
Cool.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Can you look on this camera and make sure I'm in this frame? Yeah. Just make sure I'm in it, because I think I'm in it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm in it.
I might turn it slightly.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to.
Turn my volume down.
That's cool. Turn my. Okay, do not disturb is on. All right. Ready?
Yes, sir.
In 3, 2, lights, cameras,
liquor,
sound. Let's go. Want to welcome y'all to the Green Route Podcast, episode number 36. I am GS.
And I'm Marlissa. What's up, y'all? Welcome back.
We are happy to be here. And as you can see, we are in a new studio.
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kids studio.
Yeah.
Want to send a special shout out to my man Kenneth.
Absolutely.
Holding us down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We are trying different locations and making it do what it do.
New space. Who this?
You know what I'm saying? So if you call me and you blocked, I'm sorry.
The price went up.
The price went up. My time costs a little bit more now.
I love that.
So we got a few quick hits. You want to get right into it?
I do.
Before we get into the quick hits, let's go ahead and put the disclaimer out there that you might get a little pissed off. These quick hits are Black History Month done absolutely fucking wrong. And we just gonna try to laugh through it. Just let you know. Just quick, just disclaimer. That's all.
Y'all, that's why we started with this, because it gives us an opportunity to chuckle at some shit that really should piss us off. But by this point, we're used to it, right? Like, I'm used to them fucking up.
We're pretty used to it, but you know what? They always find either a new level to go to or a different space to do it in.
A new level of foolery.
Or somewhere we wouldn't even expect them to do it at. Or a different company. Source, we'll see.
Yeah.
All
right, y'all. So these so far are our top 5
timer.
Black History Month stunts of 2023. So the first one, I'll start off. It was the blackface daycare. So this happened at Studio Kids Little River Daycare in Miami. There are pictures that surface of children dressed as cops and construction workers in blackface. And when the picture surface, of course, to play fuck it, I'm pulling my kids out of here. This is a legal licensed business that decided that white and brown children in blackface was okay for Black History Month.
So the idea that, you know what, there isn't enough black representation in my daycare, therefore I have to paint the kids' faces.
Yes.
And in my mind, this is a good idea of what representation looks like. Again, this is why we need education in the schools.
Absolutely.
About how the media, specifically how they've transformed themselves in ways that have been directly harmful to us. Because if they actually knew any better, they know that blackface historically is a terrible thing to do.
It's just bad all around. I got nothing else to say. It's just it's shitty.
What are you doing with these kids?
And you starting them as babies.
Man, you know what? I didn't think of that. These kids, you putting blackface on their face.
Yes.
Yo.
50 families were outraged, and a lot of them decided to pull their children. So they already getting hit in the pocket. So I mean,
good.
So yeah. All right. The second one is a California middle school decided to hand out cotton balls to celebrate Black History Month.
Oh, be clear. It wasn't the middle school. It was one kid who brought them, but multiple students helped pass them out in celebration. The part that kind of fucked me up on this story had to do with the fact that the school itself wasn't sure how to deal with it, because they know that they have parents who are sensitive about talking about issues with race. So
because critical race theory,
they're in a school to where they're scared to talk about race. Yet little Timmy and Janice and motherfucking Rebecca,
they know enough.
They know enough
about cotton.
They know enough to be racist and condescending. They know that much, and they're okay. That's kind of the problem that I'm having with their parents. The other problem, like, you taught them well enough to know how to be shitty kids and shitty humans, but you're not willing to teach them how to be more aware.
The full story.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Great job, parents.
Yep. So number 3, Miami is really outdoing themselves this year.
Fucking Florida.
Miami.
And we love Florida. Let's not be clear. We love our family in Florida. But Florida, man, is a real thing.
If you family in Florida, we love y'all.
We love y'all.
If you on the other side of that bullshit, fuck you. So Miami decided to vomit all over a cop cruiser with Black History Month paraphernalia, colors, fucking outlines of Africa. It was ridiculous.
It was, first of all, the cop cruise itself was ugly as fuck.
It was
ugly.
Who designed it?
You said throw up, and that was the right idea. The thing about it is, putting Black History Month and Black Pride symbols on a cop car is like dressing up your roach with a Raid jersey. It's like putting a jersey on a cockroach and it says Raid on this shit. Why would you historically put something that has such a negative connotation on something that it's killed?
It be killing them.
It's even today. We just talked about Tyree Nichols, and y'all are attaching Black History Month and Black symbolism with police cars.
Have you tweeted that? That's fantastic.
I didn't tweet it, but the shit was stupid. And the crazy thing is, it was either the mayor or the police chief thought it was a good idea.
He unveiled it. He really
thought that shit was fly.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's okay. That's almost like, because I think he had a Spanish last name. That's almost like putting the Mexican flag on a white border patrol agent, and being like, yes, you guys, aren't you impressed?
Yes.
Aren't you? It's Mexican History Month. It's Latin Culture Month.
100%.
Look at this.
I saw somebody that said, like, oh yeah, Miami is different. They got those white Cubans down there.
That's true.
And they internalized like the anti-blackness there.
Oh yeah.
And so literally, because I had reposted a video and people commented like, oh no, in Miami, that's the thing. Like you have Cubans that can pass or that associate with whiteness. And so they do shit like this because in their heads, well,
I watched a Vice Proud Boys special, and surprisingly, they were in Miami. They were, and I was just like, what? And they were like, I want to say the majority of them had like Spanish descent.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all are wilding.
It's real though. It's real. All right. So number 4 of 5. So students were served chicken, waffles, and watermelon. To me, that sounds fantastic, right? But I don't want to be served by Aramark, who tends to have some of the biggest contracts in the United States for some of the largest schools and largest companies. The company I worked for had a contract with Aramark. And you would think that there was enough representation in this company, Aramark, the caterer, to say, hey, maybe that's not a good idea.
The thing is, according to one of the articles, it talks about how this is not their first time dealing with something like this. They tried to serve watermelon water and some other shit at NYU, and NYU, the students there was like, get these motherfuckers off of our campus.
For Black History?
Yeah, for Black History Month. So it's like, y'all, when we talk about the need for like, for education, like for real history, when we talk about that, this is what we talking about. This the shit. Okay, well, I'm gonna that point. I'm bringing back on the last point because I'm bringing back on the last point. But specifically with this, you have a company that is a multi-million-dollar company,
100%,
contracts everywhere. But clearly, there's no Black representation, or at least culturally understanding, sensitive. No one with that kind of sensitivity working in the higher offices.
And if they are there, because I've experienced this too, they're so worried about losing their spot as the one that they don't say anything. I have been in spaces where you have Black people at that level, but because they've gotten to that level, they want to protect it.
That's a good point.
And so they won't push back on the establishment because they don't want to be seen as one of them.
So Aramark, so what you should do, if that's the case, Aramark, whoever the Black person in the room, when y'all were making the decision to create this menu, you need to fire them.
100%.
Because they looked at you and smiled and say, that's a good that's a chicken, watermelon. Ask any Black person. If you are in a predominantly white space, what is in Black History Month? Ask just anyone. I'm telling you, anyone. Ask them what is top 3 racist foods that they could serve that you know they on some bullshit. What they gonna probably say first?
Chicken,
watermelon. I'm gonna
sunflower
go with seeds. Now we getting a little more nuanced.
Collard greens, maybe.
Collard greens.
Okay,
we get a little more nuanced.
The third one you can play with.
But
watermelon and chicken, 100%.
No,
mac and cheese, maybe. But your grandma got to make it. It got to be baked.
We're just saying there are. You ask any Black person, about
they knew what it was.
Majority. Let me say majority. Again, don't ask the people in your office. Don't ask the Black people in your office, clearly, because they're going to say that shit cool. Right. Ask someone outside of y'all. Ask some nigga at 7-Eleven.
Ask a real nigga.
Ask somebody who just ask. Yeah. Just ask.
Yeah. All right. And number 5, a New York school put a muddy snowman together and called it a snowman of color.
First of all, it was a biracial snowman, and I was offended. As a biracial Black man, I was personally offended by the snowman.
And it was ugly
because they used dirt to make him darker, and they in their mind that the thing. Okay, now the point that I was finna make earlier. This is why education on history, curriculum that's actually culturally sensitive and understanding. This is why we need that, because not only are kids doing stupid shit, but parents are okay in that shit. And it's happening in companies. And it's happening with the police force.
That's right.
It's
government.
Like, it's happening everywhere around us. Like, they're making these stupid ass decisions. Stupid ass decisions that are really. It's like with the watermelon and chicken thing. It's like, or the blackface thing. It's like, if me and you having a conversation, we like, don't serve us watermelon at Black History Month event. Don't serve us fried chicken. The only thing they hear, watermelon, fried chicken. Blackface. They don't hear us talking contextually about what those things are and what they mean. They just
and if you say anything, you're woke and everybody's too sensitive. But it's just like, but that's where context becomes important, right? Like, you have to put the history in the context. You have to put the history of these things being used as stereotypes against us to harm us in context. And like I keep saying America fails to eat the whole roll. Like we want to say everyone is sensitive, but you don't want to admit that these things have been harmful to us in the past. And that means that like unless we come to a kumbaya moment as a country, I'm going to assume that you're still using it as in a harmful way.
Right.
You're still using it to dig on my people who have been shitted on in this country since we was fucking brought over here.
Exactly.
So I can't understand like how no one stands up and says maybe not.
The other point as to why they don't say maybe not, again, they don't have black friends. We're in these spaces to where, like, again, we know in the offices for sure, I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah.
As a child, maybe in my household, they might say the N-word here and there. Like, there are these spaces in which it's white dominated. But outside of those spaces in social spheres, clearly y'all don't have any black friends.
Well,
and if you do have black friends,
there you go.
They're not really your friend because you're not allowing them to express what those things really mean.
They have probably internalized.
Or the only kind of black friends you really fuck with are the ones who don't say nothing.
Boom. And that we can drop the mic right there.
Well,
that's it. All right, so you want to move on to topic number 2. Thanks for rocking with us through these quick hits.
Appreciate it.
So Nikki Haley, she is seeking the GOP presidential nomination, and she dropped a campaign video. Did you watch it?
I did not watch the video, but I watched some tweets that she has made. Talk about the video.
Yeah, so the video wasn't shit.
Not
so she South Carolina, right? She was the governor of South Carolina, and she decided she is the first Asian Indian American woman to seek the GOP presidential nomination. And so in her video, she talked about how her parents came to this country, and you know, people want to see our country as racist and unfair. And she was like, it's none of those things. My parents came over here and they were able to make a life and all of this. And so
it sounds so good, don't it?
Doesn't it?
So good,
doesn't it? But then when I dug into her history, I was like, girl, your daddy was a PhD professor. Your mama was like, okay, first of all, you were probably insulated from a lot of shit. Number one, because you're lighter skinned. Let's be honest.
Let's be clear
like
here.
She can pass.
Colorism happens in India.
Yes.
It's a real thing.
100%. She's lighter skinned, but also your socioeconomic status, even growing up, allowed you to get into spaces where money is probably the first thing that gets you respect, and then maybe your race.
Okay.
And so if your parents are doing so well, you're immediately, and that's why I don't always claim like racism when certain things happen. Sometimes it really is about you don't have access to anyone who can defend you,
right,
or any power, so you're being shitted on, which is why I don't understand how like poor white people go for Trump. I'm like, you being shitted on too. So her video it really talked about, you know, all these things that she wants to undo, including the teaching of a racist American history. She talked about defending certain rights, including the right to bear arms. All
a lot of GOP talking points.
Yes, and the thing that I thought was interesting was, to me, she seems to be a bit of a chameleon in that, look, whatever's popping right then, like, I'll get with it. So there have been times where she criticized Trump, right?
There have been times.
Yeah. But then when it came back, she was like, well, I mean, I'll work with him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a problem. And so I just worry about like the flip-flopping, her being willing to bend on some things depending on who has the most power and who has the most political capital at the moment. Now, one thing I will say I 100% agree with her on is the fact that we have just wasteful spending in this country. Like, we spend shit. I mean, I just talked about us shooting down a balloon with a, $500,000 missile.
Don't get blocked again.
Well, we could have used the thumbtack. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like send a BB gun up there and shoot at it real quick. Like, why are we sent 2 F-22s up there to shoot at this balloon.
Right.
And I feel like when it comes to things like that, we can be wasteful. And so when it comes to fiscal policy, I'm with her. But like the social shit, I can't do it.
All right. You made one of the points that I was gonna make. The other point that I was gonna make is this. Number one, people who are in her position, who's trying to get the spot that she's in, as a person of color, loves to, tell that story of being immigrants, this, that, and the third. Again, they're not going to point out the fact that they had a level of educational privilege.
That's
and
right.
even how America itself, especially in a lot of these schools, if you show yourself that high in academia, they'll pay for you to get over here. They'll pay for your room and board. You can barely speak English.
Yep.
But if you are academically achieving where you are, America is one of the kings of brain drain. So they will pull you from wherever you are. So 100%. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, Miss, there is no racism, but your original name is Nimrata Nikki Randawa Halley. And forgive me if I mispronounce it. All my Indian folks.
For me, though.
I tried.
He
tried
did
to
his
hold
best.
it
He
together.
did his best, y'all.
I tried to, I have some Indian friends. You know what I'm saying, and I tried to
I
channel
love
it.
Indian people.
I tried to channel it. And I know I didn't, so forgive me if I didn't say it correctly. My
Yeah.
overall point is, how can you say that there's no racism, but you go by Nikki Haley?
That's right.
The idea of the fact that you have to change your name just to be more digestible is an issue.
Can we talk about how she became a Christian?
Probably some conversion therapy shit. Probably done motherfucking.
But her parents
sent her off to a camp or something, and they're
still Sikh.
Wait. What? Okay, I'm joking, but I don't know.
No, that. So she grew up like Indian Sikh. That was.
Oh, okay,
She converted, and when I was reading it, I'm like, this is one of the things we're talking about right here, because America will not elect a president. I'm gonna be honest. Will, at least right now, who's voting, they will not get the vote if they're Muslim or anything outside of Christianity right now. And you can be any version of that. You can be Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, what is it, evangelical, which is the big one right now. But you had to change your religion just to get in, the same way you had to change your name.
That in itself is inherently a racist characteristic, changing your name to be more palatable to whiteness. And that's my last point. This is what they like. I think they actually get off on people of color changing themselves so much to please them. It's like, oh my God. Like they salivate over that shit. That's what
You're invited to the barbecue. No thanks.
No. You're invited to the what do they have?
Country club?
They have taco night. They have
what them tacos looking like?
It's like the hard ones with the. I ain't gonna lie, they kind of like black people tacos. So we be doing the hard shells. We be doing the mixed shit.
Black people tacos.
We be doing, let me know. It was wrong reference.
Okay.
But
let me find out white people do taco night. White friends, invite me to taco night. I want to know.
Look, don't invite me if you voting for Trump or if you on some fuck shit.
100%.
So, but that was my last point. Okay. Nikki, just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so she is officially Trump's first competitor in the race for the GOP nomination. So I mean, but we can imagine the field is probably going to get pretty crowded.
Oh, it's going to get tiny.
Yeah, so
because wwho's going to probably be the first one to be racist towards her? Probably Trump. I bet he's going to say something about her being Indian. I can't wait. I can't wait.
What do you call
he gonna
Elizabeth Warren,
Pocahontas? Pocahontas. He gonna have some shit for her. I would throw some stuff out there that he might say, but
don't even
that's
give
gonna
him
make us
no
look
ideas.
bad.
Don't even give him no ideas.
I already know.
You good. All right, so let's get to number 3. This one is interesting because I want to point out that on this show, we actually speculated that the U.S. had something to do with this. It felt like us when it happened, and both of us looked at each other and was like, we was behind this shit. So
because we knew.
Oh yeah.
All right, so y'all, the context of this, the next story is this. So it came out. Let me get the timer. It came out that actually there was a pipeline a few months back that connected Russia directly to a few European countries. It was a very active pipeline.
Yes.
It was getting millions of barrels of oil, very efficient.
Yeah, it
until a point
ran under the Baltic Sea. Yeah,
up until a point, and then somehow something happened and caused a leak.
It went kaboom.
All of a sudden. Don't get me. Now let's be clear here. We are very much so aware. We're not talking about like the American pipelines that our Native American brothers and sisters are fighting against that are not really as regulated as they should, that are busting all through North Dakota and all in the Midwest.
Yep.
We're not talking about those. We're talking about pipelines that they actually cared about.
Yeah,
They actually cared. They there was no real issue with this one.
So it was Nord Stream 2. So this is Russia's pipeline that connects to Germany, and they send natural gas through it. So there was already a Nord Stream 1. This was Nord Stream 2. It had just been finished. They're about a mile apart. So last summer, we heard that, oh my God, somebody blew up Russia's pipeline. GS and I looked at each other and was like, and this was right before. Remember, y'all have to remember the timing of this. America has started instigating Russia's invasion of Ukraine, right? They hadn't invaded yet.
Yeah.
But America was front and center, like, oh, Russia's about to. And I have friends in Ukraine. Journalist in Ukraine who was like, the U.S. is making this worse because of their instigation. We're used to Russian presence at our borders. This is normal for them, but the U.S. is making it worse. So what this journalist, and he is a prize-winning expert journalist who has uncovered several things that the U.S. has been a part of, including some genocidal shit. You know what I mean? So what he is saying is that the U.S. worked with Norway to cover up the sabotage of this pipeline. They covered it up by sending a covert operation during wartime, war games. I'm sorry, sent divers, expert divers, in there to plant charges on it, but charges that could be remotely detonated when they got ready. Few weeks later, I think it's about 8 weeks later, all of a sudden the thing goes kaboom. What's crazy about it is, in this report, what also happened is he noted that Norway's exports of natural gas to Germany and Europe have gone up. And Russia, remember, they were calling for, hold on, something
Something is
right.
very fishy.
Poland, they tweeted after the day after, Poland tweeted, "Thank you, America. Thank you, United States." No context, but they thanked us. I'm not gonna get shot.
It's because now you messing with oil money now. And truth be told, if Russia, in my opinion, were a more capitalistic country versus more dictatorship, communist, like somebody probably would have responded back to America with force.
Yeah.
But being that they're already kind of tied up with Ukraine, like they're not really, they just like they just knew the whole time.
My money tied up.
My money tied. Look, let me get back to you.
Right.
I'm gonna beat your ass, but next week
later.
I got a headache right now. I gotta deal with. So I'm not surprised. It makes sense. Honestly, I think when it comes to America, especially the military industrial complex, usually the root of that is capitalism. We are trying to make money. If there's not a way we can sell weapons to both sides, if there is a way that we can figure out how to get you to buy directly from us or from our friends,
one of our partners,
one of our partners, we can do that.
That's it.
We down for that.
And we have been good friends with Norway for quite a while.
Good friends.
Quite a while.
Good friends. And we're trying to make even better friends.
Yep. Because now they making money off of it. Oh God. It's a thing. It's a thing, y'all.
Also, too, there have been, I want to say that within the last 2 or 3 months, they've started the building of more military bases in that side of Europe.
I saw that.
So in Eastern Europe, they are already putting more and more money into that as well. So it's just a creep,
Lord help us.
A westward creep over there. Now, again, we got 13 seconds left, but clearly the priorities of America are there. Militarization, taking over foreign lands versus here, which leads us to our next topic.
Yes.
All right. Now,
this one is sad.
Guns are now the leading cause of death for 5 to 18-year-olds, and they've surpassed car accidents.
In 2020, it surpassed car accidents as the #1 cause of death. And on average, the U.S. has more than one mass shooting per day now.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're the other day with the shooting in El Paso, which was, by the way, right across the street from the Walmart shooting that we saw. Yeah, it was the same area. So that made number 72, and I think that was 2 days ago. So I'm pretty sure we're probably in the high 70s or low 80s now.
And we didn't even talk about Michigan State. What happened in Michigan State?
Yeah. So that was number 67. of 2023, and with El Paso we hit 72, and those were only 2 days apart.
So either do we have a gun problem or do we have a people problem?
I think we have both. I genuinely, because I mean we can take guns, absolutely, and that would absolutely help, but I think people in the mindset that we're in this country, people will find other ways to be destructive. And so I think you have to address both. You can take guns, and I think that's a great first step. Me personally, I think it's a great first step, but then you also have to deal with the mental illness. You have to deal with the fact that we live in this constant state of stress in this country. You have to deal with the fact that nobody feels like they can get ahead because everything is rigged against them.
Right.
You have to deal with the fact that, like, you know, you have politicians who blame Black people or queer people or trans people or immigrants for the issues that they've created for poor white people, and they're looking for a way out. So it's a gun problem for sure, and that's a first step. But then we have to address like the heart issue and the mind issue in this country, and we have both. We have both.
It's definitely both. It's access to it, because we have to also be fair that a lot of these deaths of children are accidents. These are just children, a lot of them, not saying even the majority, but a good amount of them are just accidents. Kids coming across guns just being everywhere. So in my mind, I would argue more of a gun problem than the people problem, because we just have so many. There was a story that just came out not too long ago where it was a gun owner, I think he was like in Kentucky or somewhere, how he just threw away a bunch of guns in his dumpster, and someone saw it and called the police about it, and come to find out, they came to address him about it. It was like, hey, he was like, oh, all those guns, they're defunct, they don't work, this, that, and the third. And they went through all of them and tested them. I want to say 1 out of 5 of those guns, or 1 out of 6, like a few of those guns actually still work. And it's just like, we have so many. It's almost as if like we can't get away from this fascination. And truth be told, that's where the people problem comes in, because it's like there's so many reasons why we feel like we need so many guns. Don't get me wrong, I do like guns. I'm a fan. I possess guns. I do. But at the same time, if I'm thinking about my own psyche, a part of the reason why I feel like I need to have a gun is because I can't depend on the police to protect me. That's number one. Number two, I feel like they've put us in these conditions, especially if you live in the hood. They put us in these conditions in which the threat of violence is ever so much around us. They have socialized us into being scared in our environment, so we feel like we have to have them. And truth be told, it's like it's not in every environment, because again, when we go to certain communities, we might not feel the need to have a gun. We might feel safer in those spaces, and it's like, why can't we create that in every space? And I think that if our government spent less time and money and energy trying to save other countries, because they're really not saving other countries, let's be clear, trying to protect and arm other countries, and actually brought that same level of safety and consideration home, I don't think we'd feel the way we feel.
Well, I think you're making my point though. Like you have the guns available, but why do people feel the need to take a gun to a Walmart and shoot up people? Like, I think that's the people part that I'm talking about. Is even if we had a bunch of guns in this country, right? If people felt safe,
you know what?
Like they'd be like, oh, this is for what the Second Amendment actually protects. And the Second Amendment actually just protects us as citizens being able to protect our land against a foreign invader. Or if the government rises up against us and starts whooping our asses in the street, we can protect ourselves. Those are the only 2 things that the Second Amendment actually protects.
Well, you know what? The point you made kind of changed my mind a little bit, because I just remembered they did like a comparison between us and I'm not sure what country it was. It's a European country, but they have per capita, they're like similar in gun possessions, but they don't have nearly as many issues with gun violence as we do. So
What are the
I
other
put the-
differences between our
Yeah,
country?
you're right. I stand corrected. It is a more of a people thing than guns thing, because again, you can have a country in which people, I guess, feel safe or don't. I mean, I don't know how those people exactly how they feel, but you can have people who feel safe or who feel a certain way about their community and are totally okay with having guns around them, yet they don't feel the need to express themselves in that way.
Yeah.
Is it problem solving skills? Do niggas not have problem? Like people can't, or are people, I guess when we talk about mass shootings, are people, which is going to lead us to our next topic. We talk about mass shootings. Are we talking about people who are radicalized and don't know how to express that radicalization? Because to be told, I don't mind you being radicalized. I don't mind you hating me because of the color of my skin. I don't mind, as long as you don't have any power over me. That's when it's a problem.
Yeah.
That's when it's an issue.
You become so radicalized that your only way to express that is to go take a gun and spray up a place. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like the root of a lot of our issues in this country is late stage capitalism, where there's so much inequality, and then to keep us distracted, they're pitting us against one another. So it's easy to radicalize a young white man who believes that all his opportunities have been stolen by Black people or by women, or like his issue with women is that, oh, they the feminist movement, like it ain't him, right? It's something that happened in society that made it so that he can't have what he wants. And I think that's where people go out and start to express themselves, because there's this sense of helplessness. Like they don't know what to do with that anger.
I would argue against the helplessness and more of entitlement. I would argue that a lot of these white men believe, and we're going to the next topic. The next topic is the Buffalo mass shooter gets life without parole, but then a family member tries his best to whoop his ass in the courtroom.
It was my favorite clip of the week,
which I applauded that. But to your point, I would argue that it's more of an entitlement thing, because I'm like, I think for a lot of these white men, they usually, I mean, it's written in their manifestos. They say things like, "This is our country. We need to take back our country." These Hispanics, these Black people, they're changing Disney characters, like all kind of wild shit that they be saying. These are their reasons as to feeling okay with committing these mass shootings. The dude said, "I just killed these folks because they were Black."
That was it.
That was it.
Very high level.
And the thing about it is, when we have these conversations about that's like about indoctrination, because they say, "Oh, we don't want you. They don't want them learning about these things because they're gonna be indoctrinated." You don't realize that in these spaces, these folks who are committing these mass murders, and they're killing your kids too. Let's be clear here. They're not just killing Black folks.
That's right.
They're indoctrinated. So why would you not want children to be educated better, or at least indoctrinated to at least be understanding of other people?
You teach them empathy young. You teach them that a person can look a certain way or have different parts or whatever, and they're still worthy of a certain level of respect.
I think this part, the empathy part. So one, empathy comes with understanding. Understanding comes with knowing information. So knowing information will make you think a certain kind of way. When they use the word indoctrination, they use it in a way that they don't realize that it's already occurring. You're already indoctrinating your children when you tell them that they don't need to celebrate Black History Month.
Right. Yep.
You're already indoctrinating your children when you tell them that that's a boy or that's a girl. That's not that. What was he born? Like, you're already indoctrinating your children when you
put them in blackface in daycare.
When you put them in blackface in daycare, when you tell them that Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior, you're already indoctrinating.
That Christian.
You are. The thing is, you just don't want your kids indoctrinating in a way that would make them empathetic and understanding to other people and other cultures. And it's like, why?
You talk about the woke agenda. Did you see the NFL commercials pushing Jesus on people?
First of all, the commercials are beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Oh, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And then it was like, he understands us. Who is he?
Okay.
And then I saw Jesus. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm saying this. we've said this before. The messaging is beautiful.
Yeah.
The messaging is correct.
Brilliant.
Love all
Yep.
people. Help people.
Yep.
Be there. But the people who are quote unquote representing Jesus the most with their Christian nationalism
Woo.
are the most hateful people.
Literally,
They will
the
literally
worst.
will say, "We love Jesus. Jesus loves all." But then turn around and say, "Get your Spanish ass back across that border.
That's right.
You can't come over here." How?
Let me tell y'all something. Jesus probably looked more like us
First,
because my feet look like brass. I'm gonna just say that.
and also Jesus was an immigrant. Jesus was. I mean,
This
we
woolly
all,
hair right here.
it's we can, because people will argue about color. They'll argue about textures. They'll argue about all that shit.
Wool is
But
wool, brass been brass.
no, true. But I'm saying there's so many levels. Not only that, it's circumstantial. Like there was a tyrant who was seeking to kill all babies who belonged to a different culture, and
That's right.
Jesus happened to belong to a
That's
different
right.
culture. They had to move. They were migrants.
Mhm.
They
Had to get out of town.
They had to settle somewhere else. They had to settle like y'all. Like how can y'all have this contradictory psyche? That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you worship a man who had to be resettled somewhere, who had to flee violence and persecution, and yet people are coming over here fleeing that very same violence and persecution, and you looking at them like they ain't shit.
Yep.
And also this too, and I saw this today. This is kind of a tangent, but it's kind of on par. Abbott old.
Give it to him,
man.
Give it to him.
Yeah. First of all, you will never be the punter of the Cowboys. I don't care how bad the Cowboys is. First of all, you slide and don't skate. First of all, my point is,
and we love our able
body, our family. Yes, we absolutely do.
Look,
but he ain't shit.
Yeah.
So
it's more about him as a person, not
more
about
him as a person. Exactly. Specifically, he's basically put us on emergency alert for, like, we have again a large amount of people at the border.
Yeah.
And I noticed when I guess I forgot what station it was, News One. It was one of those stations. But when he was talking about it, they had the images of the immigrants, and then they had the images of like the drugs in the little bags. And I'm just like, this is the foul shit that's what we talking about.
That's
like,
that propaganda.
Y'all are associating these people with drugs,
Yep.
and the majority of them, 99% of them, that's not it at all.
Yep.
99.8% of them,
yep.
It's not that at all. So going back to our original thing with this Buffalo shooter, the Buffalo shooter, in my opinion, a lot of these people who are using that kind of propaganda are very much so just as guilty, because y'all are perpetuating these same ideas that he has about people who are not white.
That's right.
So
100%. This young man was radicalized online during quarantine. And
you sure you wasn't radicalized on Newsmax or OAN or Fox News?
He probably watched all of that shit. I'm gonna be honest. And we've said this on the show before. Like, I watch liberal news and then I watch conservative news because I want to understand what the conservative, and I'm not gonna even say conservative, what the radicalized white evangelical Christian is looking at and what they're hearing. And I go to their site and I watch their station, and when I listen to what they say and I read what they write, I'm like, no wonder if you're not getting anything but this. Sure.
The thing is, truth be told, the far right people, those far right media sources, I kind of expect that. I'm not surprised when they put that kind of bullshit out. I'm not surprised. It's more so the local news, because again, I think what I was watching was a local news cast. It was Spectrum local news, and it had Denton. All that,
and they're new. Spectrum News is new. Y'all fucking up
already. So my overall point is, of course, I expect that from those right wing sites, but the problem is the ones that are supposed to be for the general population.
Yeah.
Like, can y'all not do that?
And it's on both sides. Like we always say on this show, we don't have any political party affiliation. So
no, we don't.
MSNBC, y'all can pull it together too, because some of the shit y'all be saying on that station, I'll be like, okay, let's be honest here. So I mean, they're like that's why I fuck with Democracy Now!, because they just give the facts. It's just the facts.
I rock with Democracy Now! I'm gonna say this, and this is my last point. One, the Belmarsh Tribunal. I watched. I'm probably about halfway through it because it's like 3 hours long.
Okay.
But It's been very interesting. We got to watch that. Just speaking about media,
Yeah.
non-biased or not, or at least media that's more representative of different faces,
Okay.
of different perspectives. That's dope. But specifically, my last point to this is, we're gonna keep on having these mass shooters. These people are gonna keep on becoming radicalized. It's not going to change as long as it's just not gonna change. It's not gonna change. So unless y'all are really willing to step up and actually educate kids, because this is where it starts.
Yeah,
I don't think these ideas just they just 25, 27, 28, and they just all of a sudden, I just think this way. No,
that's right.
Y'all create these environments in which these ideas can flourish from birth. So
yeah. I mean, I got some ideas as to how to stop mass shootings, but Biden, when you're ready, hit us up. We'll come talk to you.
We got some
ideas. All right, so that's all we got.
I want to hear them ideas later, but we'll save them for off camera. We'll save them off camera.
All right, so let's check in. How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay, pretty good. It's been up and down week. Okay. My brother's been sick, but
how is he?
He's good now, or at least he's back in the hospital. So so we just been up and down.
Okay,
but we pulling together. We holding it down.
Okay.
So outside of that, I kind of been getting good sleep. Not really, but I think next week gonna be better.
Okay.
Next week gonna be better.
You've been having a lot going on, especially taking care of your brother.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, no, we're definitely keeping him in the thoughts. Is he home now, or is he?
No, he's in the hospital. Okay. He had to go back.
Okay. So. Okay. Well, yeah. Let me know if you need anything.
Got you.
Yeah,
how about you?
I'm still in the flow. I'm still in the flow state.
Okay. Ain't nobody disrupting the shit. Nobody, people, because that's what it happens. Like when you be flowing, when your shit be going good, people be really trying to pull you out of it sometimes.
I've just been very protective of my time, my energy. Yeah, I think what we're doing here is important work, and so I've just been trying to focus on the work. Like, and I'm not saying like I'm not talking to friends and family, but I'm not spending immense amounts of time on my phone or at somebody's house. Like I've just kind of been, in my space, in the flow. So yeah, no complaints. Today was shitty. Like nothing worked out the way I wanted to, but I was like, everybody has one of those days every so often. So I'm gonna just have to rock with it.
Right.
And yeah, we're here, we were able to make it happen.
Make some shit happen. Let's keep it going.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. So sorry about that. Wrapping her up. So wrapping it all up. I'll start here. Let me start here. As I sum up what we've talked about today, let's be thoughtful of this. If you don't educate people, companies, children, if you don't educate them, don't worry, they will show their miseducation. It doesn't matter. You can worry about their feelings being hurt, them quote unquote being indoctrinated. Don't worry. The shit is gonna pop out one way or the other. Like now, whether it shows itself with a person changing their name because their origin name doesn't go with the people that they're trying to please, whether it shows itself in doing some underhanded shit to sell some oil to a country, whether no matter what the case is, that miseducation will continue to show itself. And if we don't get a hand around it, it could end up affecting our most vulnerable, our children.
Yeah.
So yeah, y'all stay blessed out there and stay vigilant. Stay vigilant for sure.
Put them damn guns down if you don't need them.
Look.
All right, that's what we got. We'll see y'all in a few days.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right.